Saya, Sakakibara and Romain Mahieu are the power couple on and off the BMX track. Saya, raised between Japan and Australia, followed her brother into BMX and never looked back. She's now an Olympic champion, World Cup winner, and your current leader of the 2025 World Cup standings. Romain, born in France, starting riding at 4 and worked his way to the top. World champion in 2023, Olympic bronze medalist in Paris, he recently stepped away from racing, aiming to come back stronger next season. In this episode, we talk Paris 2024, the emotional high and lows, how to reset and chase what's next, from life as a full-time pro to mindset and sponsorship. My name is Moana, a former BMX pro, and this is Bikeground, unfiltered conversations with those shaping BMX racing. Your likes, comments, and subscriptions keep us rolling. Thanks for riding with us on Bikeground.
Welcome to the Bikeground podcast. Today is a very special one for three reasons. The very first one, as you can hear, we're going to record it full English. Okay, so no French at all. This will be the very first one in English. The second one, my living room is now the official Bikeground podcast studio, thanks to Morgan, a good mate of mine. Thank you, buddy. And last but not least, today I'm not welcoming one guest, but I have two guests with me. So let's kick off this podcast and welcome to your 2024 Olympic gold medalist, Saya Sakakibara, and 2024 Olympic bronze medalist, Romain Mahieu.
Let's do it.
Guys, this is amazing. Well, first of all, I'm impressed because you are fucking killing it. And it's just amazing how good you are. I'm just happy being here with you. So once again, let's kick off. I have plenty of questions. Let's chill. But I don't know if you have listened to the first 3 episodes.
Very quickly.
Come on, dude.
I tried.
She tried, but it was in French.
Yeah. And then the YouTube subtitles are just a load of crap. So it's like,
I'm gonna, thanks to AI now, you can, do some kind of translation with voiceover. So this is not only subtitle. The sound of the voice will be very robotic. So it could be as well boring. Let's see, let's try. But in each episode, we are starting, the
Fire question.
Fire questions. Okay, a lot of questions, very simple, straightforward to allow people to better know who you are, what you do, etc. So let's start. I'm gonna start. We are gentlemen, by the way, in France. So you will reply first, and then Romain. Okay?
Ladies first.
When did you start BMX racing?
I started BMX when I was 4 years old. I was living in Japan at the time. And my older brother, Kai, he was riding bikes every weekend. I was taken to the track every weekend. So my parents were like, here's a bike, you try. And then I didn't really have a choice.
Cool. What about you, Romain?
Started in 99, so I was 4. My dad was racing motocross. Was riding motocross. And we had a BMX track next to our house.
A honk?
No, Fleur Bay.
Okay.
And then, so that's where we started. I went there together. Started together, and that's the only sport, the only license that I've ever had. So since '99,
and here you are.
Yeah, I am.
Second question: do you remember your very first BMX
Bike?
Yeah.
I believe it was a chrome and yellow GT.
Cool.
Yeah, it was very bicycle. Yeah.
What about you, Romain?
The 16-inch is like with the very, very thick tires. I don't even know what's the brand. I don't think there was a brand. It was with there was 2 wheels also at the back, but we just took them off. But yeah, that's just started with this 16 inches tiny bike where you couldn't pedal backwards. It was just forward. Oh, yeah. So I was just pedaling 24/7. There is no stopping.
That's cool. Who was your first sponsor?
Redline.
Oh.
Yeah, when I was 8 years old, well, when we moved back to Australia, when I was 7.
Okay.
When I was 8, we were kind of like half sponsored by Redline. We were given a bike and a jersey, and
Okay, Redline Australia.
yeah, it was Redline Australia. So Kai and I were both running the Redline kit, and it was so cool because I think at the time Sam Willoughby was on Redline.
Yeah.
And it was like, yes, same team.
Australian guy as well, very tall.
Josh Callan.
Yeah. You rode for Redline too, huh? You found out.
Yeah. It was cool. It was cool to be sponsored at 8.
Yeah, true. And the thing with Redline, it was, like a kind of historical brand as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I haven't been to
Yeah, I don't think so. A lot of brands are gone.
Yeah, you have so many brands like Redline, GT. Who else? Well, many brands. Yeah, so which is a shame. Even though I think the industry is doing well. I mean, if you see the number of riders just in France, of course, the good results at the Olympics helped a lot. 2008 this year, but still, like, the sport is growing, so but it's difficult. What about you, mate?
That one only the French people will know, but Cycle Février. Oh yeah.
Green jersey.
Oh yeah, green jersey, green kit. So that was my Yep. So I grew up in north of France. Eddie was the owner of the shop. Eddie Février. So when I was maybe around 6 or 8, I joined the team. I don't really remember anything because my parents were dealing with it. But yeah, it was my first time being in a team.
Okay. I was not even aware of that because I thought you would say MBK.
That was after. MBK was later. So I started with Cycle Février, and I think MBK was straight after that. But yeah, the very first one was the Cycle Février.
Cool. Okay, next question. What is the one BMX brand you always dreamed of riding for, riding with?
Red Bull.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's cool.
I've always dreamed of that. It's just when you see a Red Bull helmet on the track, you know they're good, And Luke Medill, he's my coach now. He was a Red Bull athlete, and then before the 2008 games, Red Bull made a track in his backyard as the Beijing replica.
I've seen some pictures of that.
Red Bull was posted everywhere. It was a Red Bull track, Red Bull hill, and it was so cool. And it was, so being with Red Bull is a dream come true for sure.
Yeah, a lot of riders left because I had the impression that a couple of years ago, they cut not only in racing, but also in the freestyle BMX, surfing. I mean, in many sports, they reduced.
Yeah.
And I have the feeling that they expand on some other, like, marathon, etc., more general public.
And e-games as well, and they'd be thinking that. But at the moment, the riders who are being sponsored by Red Bull in BMX racing are all women. So it's Mariana, it's me, and there's Marlene Kelstrup from Denmark as well. So
That's true. Never thought of
it's pretty
I didn't think there was
power.
just girls.
They're investing so much in marketing. This is great for a brand. And the thing is, I have the chance to work with some of my colleagues. I mean, are from old Red Bull alumni, and they are working, of course, into all of those kind of brand activations and so on. And the way, like Red Bull are used to do things, it's just messy because it's all for the sport, all for the athletes, making sure they have the right level of support and so on. And I think it's just amazing.
So cool.
No, it's good.
What about you, mate?
Well, when I was a kid, we were coming back from races on the weekend, these regional races, and we didn't have social, we only had magazine. And I always had this same magazine with all the red lines bikes in there, in the car, and I was just being very annoying with my parents because I wanted a red line, the white red line, I remember. I never ever got it, but that's the only thing I can remember as a kid thinking of one dream bike that I wanted, and that was the white red line.
Cool. But I think it's linked. Which rider has inspired you the most?
Ooh, so many. But it's hard to pick one.
Yeah.
Growing up,
A couple.
yeah, okay. Growing up, I always looked up to Sarah Walker.
Yeah.
Still look up to Sarah Walker. She's the silver medalist for London from New Zealand. I met her when I was 11 or so, and I don't know, she was just so nice to me, and she just took the time to really get to know me. She watched my racing and she said that I was doing good. I was like jumping at the time, and I was like, oh my God, she's noticing me. And yeah, and just the way that she holds herself off the track and then the way that she rides as well, I thought it was just amazing. So, and then being able to become her friend when I turned elite when I was 19 and kind of spend more time with her, it's been really cool. Yeah, she's been very inspirational from a young age.
Sarah and I, we are from the same generation. And when I think about Sarah, you know, the first thing that I'm thinking about is a big smile.
Yeah.
She was always smiling.
Exactly.
Always.
Yeah.
She killed it because
Yeah.
she's been a world champion 1 year, right? She won a couple of World Cups, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Silver medalist at the Olympics.
She told me a story in London, in the Olympic final. You know how the camera goes up to every rider before the gate drops, and the only 3 people who smiled at the camera were the ones who ended up on the podium. Everyone else didn't wave. No one else did anything. Only the 3. I was like, that's a really good kind of lesson. Like, you need to enjoy it. You need to smile. Like, it's serious, but you know, she always taught me and encouraged like the fun. Yeah. Don't forget the fun of what you're doing.
This final, Mariana won. Then Sarah finished second and third. Melly?
Laura.
Laura Snowder.
Yeah.
Feels like yesterday, but of almost 15 years ago. Come, getting old. What about you?
I've never had one rider that I was a big fan of growing up. I always took BMX as like a hobby. It was just for fun to be with my friends, but we'll go back to Cycle Février. Because of being a part of this team, I was wearing the same jersey as Thomas Hamon.
Yeah.
And then I could see what he was doing, and I was like, oh, he's also from where I am, like north of France. He's like making it into the elite level. So I was like, oh, maybe one day I can make it as well. That was in a way I looked at him. And then if I fast forward, someone that I've been looking at, it's weird because we're also friends, but like I spent a lot of time with Joris since 2016, 17, training together. I was traveling to his place in the US, spending a lot of time together, and just, it's not being a fan, it's just being very like aware of everything that he's done and what he achieved and what he went through, and actually was able to make a living out of BMX, which is something, if I go back to school, all my teacher was saying like, you'll never make a living out of BMX. Yeah. So being able to be so close to him and see what he's done could even like give me more hope, or at least it was showing me like it can happen. Yeah. It's a thing. So we're good friends, and also I don't know if he knows, but yeah, I looked at him, I looked up to him like, oh yeah, he made it. So it's not like, oh, I'm gonna make it as well because he made it, but it's like there is a possibility of making it. And yeah, that was cool.
It's just showing what's possible.
Yeah, it was more showing me what's possible, and that reminds me of something he said. Like I saw him last week. He said to don't listen. He was saying to a panel of people, don't listen to people that tell you can do it. So it just makes me think of that.
Yeah.
Because it makes me think of when I was in school, people telling me you're never gonna make it, and here we are today. So, yeah.
Crazy. And regarding Joris, you know, it's a bit redundant because through the first 3 episodes, well, we discussed about Joris obviously, but the thing is, he's gonna turn 34.
He's 34.
He's 34 already and still winning. What?
Cool.
You know,
And longevity. It's
this is amazing
that's good.
because, you know, we are very explosive kind of sport, and this is something that you're losing as soon as you're turning 28, 29. I mean, it's decreasing, which is normal, and it's still here.
No, it's. I mean, if we look back 10 years ago, he was probably the one showing us like the way of how he was the one maybe winning races before everyone. If you were talking like who's the top one, like the French guy would be Joris. And then there was, I think, a bigger gap back in the days than we have now. Back in the days, it's like 10 years ago. It was not that long ago. And now, maybe thanks to him as well, it brought others like very closer to him. And that's why I think also the whole team and France in general, the level in the elite riders is better. I think he's one of the reasons also why we all had something to chase, and we could all see that it was possible to do. I think.
Very interesting.
And now that he's shown that it's possible to win at mid-30s.
Yeah.
And I think that's incredible for kids to see, for me to see at 26. Even in the women as well. We had at least Mariana,
Yeah.
Lauren still going fast. So it's cool to see the women and the men really pushing and going for so much longer than what it used to be.
And how would you explain, you know, the such longevity with many riders? Because even with you, Sylvain, some other guys, because, you know, like 10 years ago, of course, with when they started with the very first spec cross, it was, you know, complete different sports. All of those Americans like Randy Stemfelser, etc. Well, all of a sudden they were pushed out. And then those kids like Connor, blah, 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 they killed everything. But when I quit around, I was 25, 26, in my head, but also, you know, like mentally, physically, I was done. Yeah. And in my head, I was like, okay, I can't push further because I'm already 25, 26, so this is over.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, a way or so your mental is building it around. I mean, but how do you explain that?
I would say that I think training technique, everything has evolved the past few years. The recovery as well. I think we look at recovery more in, like, we go a bit deeper than we were 10 years ago. The way what we eat. I think everything that we do beside training that I would say 10 years ago, we're not looking at it the same way. We just thought training hard was enough.
Yeah.
Now you know that training hard is not enough. You have to be very good around and do everything the best you can. And I think in a way that helps you to just go longer because you take care of your body. You make sure you get the good food, good rest. And I think that's why. I don't know what you think.
Well, it's like the advancements in technology and science of being a sprint sport lately, I think they've been able to kind of take the learnings and science from other sprint sports, like track sprints, that they've had lots of data for so many years. BMX hasn't had any, almost. So being able to like kind of tap into that knowledge and apply it to BMX and not, you know, doing 100-meter uphill sprints 3 times a week. It's more like focused on what actually needs to be done and doing those well and not thrashing the body. And like you said, the recovery component as well, I think it's just it's more knowledge. We know more how to optimize performance, and it's performance first, and it's just more athletic approach.
There is basically much more intelligence in the sport.
Yeah.
And now you're much more professional.
You don't train harder, you train smarter, I think.
Yeah, we're not.
The older I get, I'm not going to say the less I'm training, but kind of. I'm just trying to train smarter because I know it'll take longer for me to recover, and there's things that I don't need to do anymore. So I think that's also why everyone is different. Some people won't react the same with the training, but yeah, I think the fact that everything is so much, like she said, we have so much knowledge on everything now. It's not a new sport anymore. That makes a big difference.
Come on, Rose, let's go for 12 stand of squats.
I'm not doing that anymore.
What's your favorite BMX track in the world?
Oh, wow. It's very hard to pick because it's like, do I love it for the racing or do I love it for to playing around and training? I do really like Papendal.
Yeah.
I do like it what it is now because I really like the first straight. Just like that drag race, it's racing. Like that's you. It's not just about getting down the hill first. You still need to get that first 2 jumps good, the pedals in. You need to get yourself in the right position for the corner. And yeah, the whole track flows really nicely. I really like Sarian now. The second straight is the love-hate relationship with that one. It scares me every time I do it, and to be honest, I dread it almost doing it. But then once you do it, it's like, oh my God, that was really fun. And it's just that big challenge. My whole relationship with BMX is a love and hate, I think.
That's cool. I would say it's very hard because, like she said, I love to race in Papendal, but I think I'll hate to train in Papendal because I think it can be very hard track to train. And I'll see more track like Glasgow, and it's not because I did good 2 years ago, but I thought it was a very good track, quite technical, but not dangerous, which was the problem, I think, a few years ago when they tried to do different things, but there was a lot of crashes. The way Glasgow was in 2023 was pretty good for the racing. It was challenging for men's and women's, I think. It was challenging for you.
Yeah, it was a good balance. And yeah, trying to make a track for elite men, elite women, and amateur.
It's very hard.
It's very hard to get a good balance, but it seems like...
It's very hard.
I don't know about the challenge, but it was good for us.
But a track like Glasgow, or we don't race there, but Stuttgart. I went to Stuttgart for training. I thought it was a very good track as well. So yeah, Glasgow, Stuttgart, and Papendal for racing.
Cool. Okay, so now power couple bonus questions.
Oh.
Who takes longer to pack stuff before going around the world? Great.
Oh, me.
Yeah, easy.
I have way too much stuff.
Yeah, she takes forever. She takes forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I take breaks and then I get distracted and then,
Yeah, Saya takes forever. I'm pretty quick, I'll say. I take my time with my bike because I take care of packing my bike properly, but she takes forever.
Who's more competitive at home?
Are we even competitive at home? That's a hard question.
That's a hard question.
Like what?
You know, like cooking. I'm the best at cooking.
Oh, she's cooking. I'm not cooking.
You're not. Okay. So.
Oh, no, I don't think we're competitive with each other. Even, actually, when we play cards.
If we play a game, yes.
I don't know. It's very...
Sometimes we train together. So when we go do sprints can be boring, but we have the timers. And so we try to find a game. So we see who's the most consistent. That's the only way I can see who's the most competitive between us, because we want to beat each other, even though it's...
But it's not like I'm more competitive than you or you're... Yeah. I don't think I'm a competitive person away from BMX in general.
Yeah, I think I'll let her win anyway, so...
No, you won't. Shut up.
It's a loved one. You're Jen.
You have to be nice, yeah.
Who's doing better at social media?
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
She's putting a lot of effort.
I try harder than Rom does.
She wants... Yeah, her social is much better than mine.
Well, just look at last time he posted and the last time I posted. Or how many times Rom's posted this year and then compared to me. Then,
then it's easier now. Yeah, I don't take. It's not that I don't take it seriously. It's just it's a lot of work if you want to do something very nice, and I'm not that good. I just don't take the time to do it. So yeah, she's much better than me.
Cool. I'll have a couple of questions about, not only social media, but, sponsors, etc. Because, this is something that I really appreciate. We had every time it's a recurrent topic that I have with one of the guests. So we'll go a little bit deeper afterwards. Okay. What's one thing you admire most about each other? You admire.
Do I go first?
You go first.
I'll go first. I admire how Rom can be in the present all day, every day. Whatever happens in the past, he can leave in the past, and then he can just focus on what's right in front of him and just kind of live so peacefully. And I think, I admire that. And I've been able to take some of that and then be able to apply it in my life, because I'm a warrior for the future and I think about the past, I stress out. So being with Rom has been really, really good.
Great.
Yeah, well, that's the opposite fight.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's good. But the thing I admire is how driven she is about not just BMX, but just in life. She always wants to have goal for everything. Where, like she said, I'm a bit more laid back and I'm living in the present. She always likes to think of what's next, or training, or racing, or what we're gonna do in 10 years in life, or anything. She always wants to have a plan, which it's the opposite as I see things. And I think we can like meet each other in the middle, because like she just said, and when I'm saying that, what I admire of her. So maybe that's why we work pretty good together.
Come on, such a power combo.
Embarrassed with this.
Okay, guys, now it's the interesting part. Let's talk a little bit about the Olympic. I know that you had a lot of interviews, a lot of things, but I try to be a bit more, how can I say that?
Original.
Different angle.
Original.
And even though, so I'm gonna change. I'm gonna ask you first this question. In Paris, well, no, it's a collective questions. I don't know exactly how many days did you spend in Paris, because basically the Olympic Games, 2 weeks in a row. Were you there for the entire cycle, Sal?
No. When did we go there? You went there a day earlier than I did?
I think I was 6 days before the race.
Okay.
Yeah, so 6, 7, 8.
Directly from Australia or
No,
Europe? Okay.
no, in France, because we were training in the south of France.
Yeah.
So it was just an hour flight, and it was just the easiest.
I did drive to the games. Really? So I dropped her off. Did I drop you off? No. You went to the airport with Luke. And the next day I drove myself to the games. So I took my car, put my bike in my car, and I drove to Paris. And when I was driving, I was like, that's very weird. Going to the Olympic Games, driving my car. It's a 6 hours drive and I'll be there. But yeah, I went there 5 days before the race, just the day after she left.
And then we stayed maybe three days after.
Okay. Did you have the chance to meet together? Because I know that the planning is so restricted. You can't go everywhere. How did you manage that?
We didn't see each other.
Yeah, there was going to be one day before. So there was 4 days of practice, and we saw each other at the track.
Yep.
At the practice, and then the second last practice day, that was going to be our day off, and then we were going to meet each other somewhere for a coffee or something. But then I was sick with COVID, so I couldn't see anyone, and I obviously didn't want to pass anything on. So yeah, we basically just saw each other at the track, and then after the race, Ron was so busy with doing all the everything with the boy.
Well, she was busy too. She went straight into Paris at midnight. She was on TV. Yes, you were on TV at midnight.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, and then the next day I was on TV the whole day. So
Yeah, we hardly saw each other until the champions walk. They had that in front of the Eiffel Tower, and it was like 2 days after, and we're like, hey.
yeah, we didn't see each other after the race for 2 days. We didn't see each other, so we didn't get to celebrate or anything. And she was busy. I was obviously busy, and we just saw each other on in front of the Eiffel Tower when we all walked in front of the old crab. So
And a couple of days later, we drove back
Yeah.
together here.
Time for proper celebrations together. And
we went away. No, we didn't went. You went to Australia. You went back to Australia.
Yeah, we had a few days at home in Avignon or south of France. And then we went back for the closing ceremony.
okay.
And then I went straight home after this closing ceremony to Australia. So then, yeah, we didn't really.
We only celebrated at the end of August. We went away to Croatia. That's when we celebrated.
Yeah. And probably disconnected from.
Yes, from everything.
It was so nice.
From everything. But the 2 weeks that followed the game, it was not. It was pretty hectic.
Yeah.
It was hectic.
Amazing. Roland,
Tell me.
bronze medalist for sure. My first question, very straightforward question. Why did you pick lane 4?
I had third pick.
Okay, I thought you had second choice.
No, I fucked up in my semifinal. So how it works for those who don't know, it's you pick in the final. You pick depending on what time you did in the semifinal. So I won my semifinal, but my time was slow. So I had the third fastest time. Joris and Sylvain were quicker in their semifinal. So I had third pick. And I don't know. I didn't want to go 3. I don't know why. I just didn't want to go 3. It didn't feel right to go 3. I knew they were going to go 1 and 2. And I thought going 4. I knew from 4, maybe lane 5, I could still all shot if I was pretty good. Because I've done it in practice. We trained there many times. Like we spent weeks training there. I knew
Exactly how fast you were.
and I knew if I was going further than 4 or 5, then it would be very hard because it was too far from the inside. So I was like, I just thought I'll go 4 because from 4, the first straight was going a bit to the left. Okay. First corner was right. From 4, you didn't have to do too much distance and you were almost going straight into the inside of the first corner. So that's the only reason I went 4. And I don't know, I didn't want to be next I didn't want the 3 of us to be next to each other.
Yeah.
For some reason. I didn't feel comfortable. I don't know why I didn't feel comfortable going there.
So just a good.
I didn't even think. Yeah. When I had to pick, I just picked 4 and yeah, that was it.
We are roughly not a year, but 10 months later, the Olympics. How do you feel now when you think about your first straight? Because you made few mistakes. You still ended up slightly in front, but then in middle, they were in the inside.
Yeah.
How do you think about it right now?
I wouldn't say that I have regrets because I don't think I have regrets, even though that was my bad to case the first jump. I cased the first jump. I tried too hard. I don't know if I can blame myself for trying too hard at the Olympics in the final. Now, if I think about it, the more time goes, the less I actually like to look at my medal. This medal represents a lot of things because if you would have told me 4 years ago I would get a medal at the Olympics, it would be crazy. But with the 2 years that I had before the games, I was going there for gold. I was not going there for anything else. The thing is the way everything went to go 1, 2, 3, it was just crazy. So at the time I celebrated bronze, not like I won because I knew I didn't win, but it was just a big party for everyone. We knew we're making history. But now, more time goes, the more I'm like, I didn't win. Yeah. It's like I only got 3rd. In a way, I'm kind of I don't know what I think about having Joyce and Silva in front of me. I'm happy. I think I'm more happy that it's them than someone else. Because everyone deserved to be there. But it's just, we put on like a lot of work, and I mean, it's a once in a lifetime to do the games in your country. So doing what we did was pretty special. So I'm very happy that we got to share that together.
What was your mindset on the gate? Were you stressed?
No, I wasn't stressed. I was so confident that I was going to win. It was even being at the bottom of the hill, we were waiting, and I remember just sitting on like a couch or something, and I was just waiting, not even thinking of anything. I think the physio was smiling, and I was chatting, and I mean, it was not very stressful. It was very comfortable, kind of, because I kind of knew I was confident in myself, and I had like a plan in my head, like I always have a plan, and I know if I do everything perfectly, it'll most likely gonna go very good. So the stress level was just normal. It's a race. I'm racing to win. Everyone's stressed a bit, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
Not the stress, I'll say, when we lined up for the first model on day one, that's when I was the most stressed. And it's not because of me thinking I'm not prepared or being scared of racing. It's because I heard the crowd for the first time.
Yeah.
And it freaked me out. It was so loud. It was crazy.
Loud.
And I kind of got like goosebumps, and my heart was racing. And I was so happy that Joyce was actually on the gate before. He was in the first motor, I was second. So I was like, ooh, I'm glad I can see how it goes, and then I can go my turn. It's my turn. But yeah, this was stressful. On the gate for the final, that was not stressful. It was a good feeling.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because I was like, okay, you were kicked off in semi-final at the Worlds. You were definitely the fastest. Then you were not the fastest in semi-final. You had the third time. I was like, okay, well, he's able to do it for sure. Maybe with the rainbow jersey, the pressure, but the rainbow jersey, like, okay, I can back-to-back being on the same year, just like jersey, being the world champion and the Olympic. I was like, maybe it's gonna add, bit more pressure on your shoulders. So to me, you were in the best, let's say, position, almost.
I'm very proud of it. I'll hang it, and I'll be forever proud of bronze medal. But yeah, it's just the more the time goes, the less I enjoy it. It's just, it wasn't my goal. So it's still good. It's still pretty damn good, but it wasn't the goal that I had in my head. Yeah. That's why it's a bit.
Because you missed the first jump and you missed the roll as well.
Yeah, because of casing the first jump, and I was so far because I was in the middle. I went to the left on the roller, and I couldn't really push a pedal. And even though I could feel on the triple that I was slightly in front of Joyce, but from where I was, there was no way I could cut him off. There was so much room in the inside. And from there I knew I was not going to win from the landing of the triple.
Yeah. Saya, you were definitely the favorite. You killed it. I mean, during those 2 days of competition, being on the gate, you missed the World Championship as well.
Yeah.
So you were like, okay, I really want this one. How did you handle the pressure? And I'm wondering as well, because I'm like, most likely seeing Romain getting a medal, you're like, oh, I could get, of course, my goal is to get the gold medal. But did you have any additional pressure on your shoulders? How did you feel on the gate?
Watching Rom get third didn't add anything. I remember we were in the pits, and there was a TV in the pits, but it was like a few seconds behind live, but we could hear everything that was going on. So we could hear the gate go down, but then on the screen, it wasn't down. So we could just hear everything, but then we couldn't see it. So it was just like, oh. And of course, I wanted him to win. So there was this feeling of like, he didn't win. But then I realized, top 3 were French, and then they were all celebrating. I was like, okay, cool. And that just whisked away, and I forgot totally about it. And when I was going up to the top of the hill, I was actually late because they were calling me. I was like, oh crap, I need to get going. And then for a moment, I had this like blank moment. I was like, wait, what do I do again? It's the Olympic final. Like, what do I do? And I was like, Luke, what do I do? And he's like, just fucking go. I was like, done. So when I got to the bottom of the hill and I picked lane 1, it was literally just, I didn't feel any pressure or nerves or stress for the first time in a long time. Up until that point, I was so scared of racing. And every time I would line up for a gate, I would be just fighting with myself, be like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. No, I have to do it. I got this, and just trying to prep myself up. But in that moment, I pressed that lane 1, and it was just the same action that I did the last 6 times. Lane 1, going up first, standing in the middle of the track, in the middle of the start hill, waiting, and then going up last. And it was just like the same thing, rinse and repeat. And I got to the lane 1, I'm looking at the same thing from the same angle again. So I was just like, well, it's the same thing.
Yeah, repeating
There was absolutely no...
ensure that, you are completely focused on that and live focus on those little things.
And it just went perfectly to plan. Like, my plan was to be in lane 1 every single time. I was ranked number 1, so I was able to pick lane 1 from the first round. And in each race, my plan was to have the fastest lap so I can keep going in lane 1. And everything just came to plan. And once I got to the final, I was just like, well, I just have to go. And
Just another lap.
yeah. So I didn't feel any fear. It was crazy.
Amazing. I'm like, okay, winning an Olympic medals, bronze, gold, of course, this is the pinnacle of the achievement as an athlete. This is just amazing. You lead it as as athletes, which is already, like completely crazy. But what does it mean as a couple as well?
I find the questions about what it means so hard because it means so many things. And when people ask me what it means to win gold, it just means everything. It means all the hard work, everything that you went through, all the times where you battled with myself and pushed through the fear, all the sacrifices that I made. And so I find answering that question very hard. But we've never been asked, what does it mean to be win as a couple? When I think about what happened at the games, both of us winning a medal, I just think about how it could have gone totally any other. It could have been like I got 4th and Rom got 1st, and then we both crashed, or we both didn't win a medal, and we're so invested in this journey together that we both knew that we could win.
The chances that at the end we'll be 2 happy people.
Yeah.
After the finals,
So
it's
I don't know how we would manage if one of us won a medal and one of us didn't. It would be a total difference.
It would be different. I wouldn't change. It wouldn't change the relationship, but it would just the atmosphere and the way everything went after the games. I wouldn't say it was perfect, but it was almost perfect for the 2 of us. We trained together. We've been doing everything together for the past 3 years, and it's we got everything we worked for. We got something at the end, and it's not like someone got it and someone else didn't. But because even if you put on the work, if you get 4th at the games, like I said so many times, it's nothing happened. Yeah. It's a medal or nothing. If you get 4th, case. So the fact that the both of us got a medal was special.
I find it's not more what it means for us as a couple. It means, I feel it's, we know what, we literally see what we each other do each day. You've seen me overcome my challenges. I've seen you, how you approach training and how much, what you do. And then for that to become a successful Olympic Games for that, it's just, I'm just so happy for him, really. And it's just so cool that we're able to do it together.
Yeah, no, that's true. Just we just see all the behind the scene that people don't see, and that makes it even more special. Like she said, it's really happy. Yeah, we're just very happy with each other. It's because you know exactly everything that's happening behind the scene, 24/7.
All the efforts, all the dedication,
All this
you have to.
Yeah, and it's not just smart and good stuff. There's some low points and struggle that most of people won't see that, because that's not what you have to live with us to see all these things.
Yep.
So yeah.
This is why we should be starting a couple vlog. Let's go vlogging.
She's
I
trying.
tried.
Cool, actually.
It's cool, but it's,
But you need the other person in the couple to be into it as well. Because if it's just her, like I'm not good. I suck at filming, and she's very good at always filming me doing things. I'm so bad at filming her doing stuff. So it goes one way, but it's very hard. It doesn't really go both ways.
I film this and then actually, I was trying to film sprints yesterday.
I did a dad thing.
And I'm filming with this like 2012 camcorder, the one that you hold like this, and you press the button. It's not a screen, it's a button. And then, I was like, I filmed my sprints. And then I got back and I was looking through everything that he's taken. And then there's at least 3 to 5 minutes.
My feet.
The grass, his shorts.
Creator, I'm such a
Like,
dad.
wow.
A dad.
So he's basically just pressed it, did it the wrong way. And I was just like, come on,
I'm not good.
come on.
Some tutorials. Better.
I can't even press button in first. So
From a technology from 2012.
yeah.
After the Olympics, how did you reconnect to the reality? Honestly speaking.
She's still not back to reality.
What do you mean? This is my reality.
She's been back into reality for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah. Why?
Since we've been back to France.
Yeah. So what do you mean by that?
You've been pretty busy.
Yeah, oh, right, yeah.
Yes.
What do you mean by reality? Just back to normal.
Back to normal, because once again, facing all of the media attention, all of those things. I would think I'm not a gold or bronze medalist, but I had the chance to participate to the Olympics, and it's a fucking roller coaster, honestly speaking. So all things are going right now. Almost a year after that, do you feel that you are back to your normal life / normal rhythm, or it's still quite, let's say, bubbly?
Yeah, you're right. So being back in France has been really helpful, because being in Australia, there's so many opportunities, and my manager is handling a lot of it, but it's literally last year, straight after I went home, it was just so much stuff. I was going interstate, I was going to Europe, and I was coming back, and it was just so much. And along with that, it was, public speaking and talking in front of people and presenting and sharing my story, which I really, really loved. And I loved that I got to share my story, and people got to know about BMX and took interest and things like that.
It's important for the sport.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted all that, but at the same time, I had this fear of public speaking, and I would get really nervous, and I would be dreading doing it. So then I would have that element as well, which was really, really exhausting in the end. But yeah, I think winning a gold medal has brought so many more opportunities that's continued right to the point where just before I left. Australia to come here. Now there's pretty much nothing, which is great. And now I can really focus on training and literally just training and resting, which is nice. And I think that's, at some point, it needs to be boring. It needs to be focusing just on training and focusing just on resting, because I think that's when I get the most out of myself.
Okay.
So I'm glad to be back here. I don't know if I've...
Do you think your new reality is the same as before?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying.
Because you're Olympic champion.
Yeah.
How many Australians bring back home a gold medal this year?
18.
18, okay.
Yeah. It was the most successful Australian team for the games. And yeah, there was so much attention to quite a few. And then there were mostly women as well. So there was quite a big hype around the gold medalists in Australia. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my new reality is, knowing that I'm an Olympic champion and I'm, won that title. It's now, how do I handle the next racing in the season? I don't know, because I've never been in this position before. So I'm kind of just coming into it, trying not to, anticipate too much and put too much pressure on myself, and kind of see it as a challenge that I've never been in before, and to see how it goes. And I'm sure that I'll learn as soon as the season starts, whether it's I'm right where I need to be or when I'm way far off. So, but what's really cool is that I'm actually excited to race, because for the last 2 years or so, I was just dreading racing so much because I had so much fear. But I feel like I've been able to, fight that demon for so long now.
What do you mean by fear?
I just crashed a lot in 2022, and I was racing with a lot of fear. And every time I got onto the gate, I would just envision the worst case scenario of, someone cutting me off, someone just hitting my handlebar at the bottom of the hill and me going over the handlebars. I was living with so much fear.
Always, you had those negative thoughts in mind.
Yeah.
It's very good for you to fight against that.
It was a big challenge, even through 2023 and 2024, when I was racing and I was winning World Cups. I was still racing with so much fear. It was so weird. But then the Olympic final, that was the first time I didn't feel fear. So, going through that kind of experience, I know that this next challenge, I'm going to be able to figure myself out, and I'll learn a lot. So yeah, I don't know if it's weird. I don't know what my reality is. I guess this is my reality, and I'm still trying to figure it out, and I feel like everyone is figuring it out. No one knows what they're doing. Do you know what you're doing?
Not really. Not really. I haven't been that busy, because the 2 weeks after the games we were busy with the media. It was a big deal. It was history, 3 Frenchies on the podium at the games. So people talked about us quite a lot. We were invited to different things.
TV
channels.
Everywhere.
Just even going for dinner, people recognized me. I was at the gas station, and same thing, people were coming to me like, "Oh, you the BMX guy?" And it was actually pretty cool. Like we said with the guys, we felt like we were rock stars for 2 weeks, like big rock stars. Everyone knew who we were. But then I went to Australia because it was just time to go back there. And at that time, it's like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Nothing happened, because there's still some people. There was just...
You have fame over there.
Yeah, because they watch the games and they're like, yeah. Or even though we cheering for Australian, we're cheering for you. And it was very cool to see the 3 of you on the podium. People were very happy.
Yeah.
Even from another country, they were very happy for us. At least the feedback that I got. So, but it was not as much as I think if I was to stay in France the whole 2 months after the games, where I probably would have been asked to do more things. So yeah, and I actually liked it. I like to go back to Australia and had some quiet time.
Yeah.
And it's not just because of what happened at the games, it's because of the 2 years, like 2023 and 24. It was just full on and with just one thing in my head and in my mind and one thing, like one focus. And it was just time to switch off. And
Yeah, you were simply and completely drained.
yeah, I wanted to get away. So being there was perfect. And it was just back to reality. I don't know reality, but just back to, I guess, normal.
Yeah.
But not the normal of like training, every day training hard. And it was just relaxing. And that was very nice. I actually enjoyed that. I think he helped me in my transition as well. He helped me not to take a whole year off training. Now I went back to training at the end of last year and I felt good. I was not like depressed or my motivation was still here. And it's still here. It's just, I think I need to adjust and find new thing to look forward to now.
Yeah.
That's it. But I think I'm happy the way I dealt with it. I think I'm back to normal. I don't know what that means, but I like where I'm at the moment, which is good.
What are your goals now?
Well, there's different goal. You have your short term, which will always be the World Cup and the World Championship. It's the same every year. Even though it's the post-Olympic season, I still want to go to the World Championship. I still want to win. It's still something that I got to experience.
Still have the spark.
Yes, and I've been there. I've got a chance to be world champion once. I know how it feels. I know how it made me feel, and it's like drug. It's just once you taste it. I've never tasted drugs, but it's like I don't think you can get enough of it. You just want more. So when I lost it last year, I was actually pretty bummed about because I felt like I had another shot and I know how hard it is to win one.
Yeah.
My first one took me 10 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is always going to be a goal to every year be ready for Worlds. And of course, if I look a bit further, it's 2028. That's my next goal. The good thing, I will come back to what I was saying about Joyce, how I looked up to him and see what he was doing. I can still now look up to him, and he was 33 at the games. He won gold. In Paris, I'll be, in Los Angeles, 2028, I'll be 33 as well. So I'm like, there's chances that if I still want to do it, and if I put everything together and I'm still good, like I have chances to go to the games and fight for another medal. So it helps me at least to have see something clear in my head that 2028, it's doable. And that's what I'm going to go for. After that, we'll see, but at least I know I have something for the next 3 years.
Having a plan for the next 3 to 4 years is already like a thing.
It is, but it goes so quick. It's crazy. It's just so quick when you start focusing on one thing and putting everything you have into it. Like 2023 and 2024 went so quick. It was very, very, this Olympic cycle was very, very fast.
Yeah.
This year, I think, will be the slowest.
How many?
Yeah, but it's already like almost June.
Yes, true.
You raced twice the Olympics or 3 times?
Twice. No, it's like Tokyo and yeah.
I wasn't sure about Rio.
No. Tokyo was my first time.
Saya, what about your goals?
Learning French.
I'd like to learn French.
Fall apart?
No, I've always wanted to be a world champion. I've got the Australian champion, Oceania, World Cup, Olympics. The only thing missing is the world champs. So in junior, in 2017 at Rock Hill, I was winning until the very last second, half a second, and I got pipped on the line. So I missed out on a rainbow jersey there. And I feel like every world championships since then has been disappointing. Either I've crashed or I stuffed up or couldn't race because I was injured. So I feel like at some point it'll happen. But yeah, becoming the world champion is definitely my next goal.
I didn't know that you didn't win yet any world championship.
Nah, so there's
Striving for that.
yeah, that's why I was also really, so coming 8th at Rock Hill last year after missing a start and just being panicking and just got last. That was a huge kind of hit to my confidence, because up until then I had won or came second at every final since June the year before. So I was so sure I was going to win or come second. And I was like, yeah, I was on a roll. And walking away from that World Championships, coming 8th, I was just like, oh my gosh, am I going to be that person who wins all the World Cups and never the World Champs or the Olympics? And I'm like, am I going to be that person? And I was just, yeah, really stressed about that. And I really hope that that's not going to be, well, I was able to win the Olympics, but still want to win the Worlds. So hopefully I'll be able to.
I mean, an amazing target to achieve, and you're still very young, 25.
Yeah.
So still plenty of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah, I really want to win. But I feel it's weird because when I think about Copenhagen and the Worlds, I don't have the same amount of desire that I had last year towards the Olympic Games. I had so much focus, and I was towards last year. But when I think about Copenhagen, I can feel that I don't have that same level of focus, which is, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Maybe it's just I've grown, or there's less fear, or whatever it is, which I'll find out soon.
Maybe Alon did influence you in his kind of.
She's just laid back. Doesn't care about anything anymore.
Yeah, just living in the present. That's definitely what I've seen the change. And there was a few months ago where I would be like, oh, I'm not focused like last year, and I don't feel as good as last year, and training's not like last year. And I kept comparing myself to who I was last year, and I had to let go of that because I'm in a total different circumstance. I'm in a total different environment and total new as well. So kind of just took that pressure off myself and just seeing this as a new challenge. And hopefully living this way, it's actually much easier on my life, on my well-being, like less stressed, being focused when I need to be, and kind of enjoying life when I don't need to be. Yeah.
Amazing. Do you have any strategy over this current season? Because we are talking, you're talking about short-term plans, becoming world champ. You do, but in a different way. It's more difficult for you to reconnect and to find the, let's say, the spark to get back to it. Is there anything, that you are planning differently to be ready this season?
I think there was literally straight after the games, I was like, okay, so how do I win LA now? And I was already thinking that far ahead. And I was like, okay, so how do I win the next, Copenhagen, and how do I do this? And I'm like, okay, maybe I can change this, can change that. But then, and I was just stressing myself out by doing that. But in the end, I was like, well, don't fix something that's not broken. I've been winning for the past 2 years, and I've seemed to have a really good routine with my training and my approach to racing, how I prepare mentally as well. And I thought I'll just repeat that to see what it's like, and then we'll see in a few weeks in Sarian how that all goes, and that's the true test, really. Then we can start to adjust. So I think I'm trying to not be in my head too much about how I'm going to approach. It's just go in there doing what I know, and then if it needs adjusting, then that's just what you do.
What do you mean? Same?
Yeah, didn't try to change anything. There's no different approach. I see it as what I experienced in Paris can only be positive anyway, because the way I felt in racing in front of your home crowd for the Olympics for a medal, that's the highest level of pressure you can even get. And even more with the our story. When I say our, is Joris, Sylvain, and my story. In Tokyo, we were in the final, the three of us. We didn't bring any medal.
Yeah.
We were the same three this time at the games, and how the media likes to always like bring it up. It's like everything they were just bringing up was always about Tokyo and how we didn't bring any medal.
Yeah.
So we had to go through all that, and then the way he ended with 3 medals at the end, and all the I'll say the pressure, but everything we went through is just can only make us better, I think. So at least for myself, I experienced something that I'll probably never experience ever again. Even if I make it to the next games, it won't be the same. It won't be like this.
Yeah.
What we went through, it's just, I think it was a one life thing, and I'll just take it.
Sensory. Yeah.
Yes, I'll just take it and I'll use it. That's the only thing that's very different. Everything else is, I use the exact same thing as I've been doing for 3 years. It's been working pretty damn good. So
With a gold medal, would your mindset be the same?
no, I even told her, if I win gold, maybe I retire before the games. I was thinking, I'm like, if I win gold, what's gonna be my goal? I've been world champion. I won the World Cup overall. If I win the games, there's nothing that's gonna make me wake up in the morning and be excited to go train that's big enough. I can race in the US, I can do the European Cup, but it's not big enough. So I told them, maybe what if I win and I retire? What do I do? I think would never know, but it would have been something I would have thought of, like, so what do I do now? Because what's my next goal? Because I think that's the way I work. I'm not in love with BMX. I don't love, it sounds weird, but I don't love riding my bike every day. It's not something that I love to do. I love the process. I love training. I love getting ready for a race, and I love to win. That's what I love. I don't love riding my bike. It's fine, but it's not fun. It's not where I get the fun. So if I get to a point where I got these 3 titles, what do? That's like, I need something to look forward to, and maybe I would have not had anything. So I'm kind of, in a way, I'm kind of glad I only got bronze.
Yeah.
Because now I still have the same goal, which is still winning gold one day. And that's what's gonna keep me going for the next 3 years. So in a way, I'm kind of glad we'll never know, like, what happened if I won gold, because now I really enjoy my lifestyle. I say I don't think I'm in love with BMX, but I really enjoy the lifestyle that I get to live, to train, I make a living out of BMX, which is amazing. And I wouldn't change anything about the way we live our lives. We live in France, we live in Australia. It's pretty cool.
It's an amazing life.
I wouldn't change my life. It's amazing, but it's just about BMX. It's just, if I don't have a goal that's big enough, I don't know BMX enough to stick with it.
Because at the end of the day, the sacrifices, the commitment that you guys must have. I mean, we discussed that, before we started the podcast. I mean, I'm so impressed by the commitment that it's been like 15 years that you are in this kind of mindset and in this kind of rhythm. I quit BMX around 25. I was done. I was drained. And I'm very amazed in a good way. And I'm like, it's unreal. And what you guys are doing, it's crazy.
No, it's when you look back like this, I got into a training center when I was 14, 15.
So young.
Left my house, and it was all BMX from this young age. So maybe that's also why now I'm 30 and I'm like saying that I don't love it as much.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing it for so long. And when you move into a training center, BMX become a big part of your life. When if you're at your, I mean, like, I don't know, but if you live at your parents, it's still different. When you're in training center, you're there because even though you're young, you realize people kind of believe in you.
Yeah.
And they think you have potential and you can do something.
It becomes less of a hobby, and
It's not a hobby anymore.
it's not. You don't do it for fun then.
No, you still have fun because you're young and you like
Yeah.
it, but
the
quickly,
objective isn't fun.
no. The objective is not fun. So I've been doing that for a while, and yeah, that's maybe why I'm saying that I don't love BMX as much as I used to, but I found other stuff into my training and everything I do that I actually really enjoy, make me a better person every day. That's what's very important for me. So,
And there are also many things that can spice up a little bit in like everything you're going through or your day to day. We had this discussion with Sylvain in needing to switch for another coach. So now he's trained by Sam Willoughby. It was a necessity for him, even though everything went well with Nicolas Schott. I was just like, dude, it's been 10 years. I need something new. And no offense to him, you know. I mean, he was part of everything. And, you know, if I'm at this level right now, it's, you know, big part thanks to him. But I did something new to reinvent myself, also to, yeah, I mean, there are so many options. We're talking about coaching, by the way. Who are your coach?
Kurt. I changed coach 2 years ago.
Who is?
Kurt Picard?
No way!
Yeah, you raced him in London.
Oh, wow. Kurt Picard.
Yeah, he's my coach for the past 3 years. He's been my coach. But yeah, I understand Sylvain because that's exactly what I did. I was in a training center environment for so long. Even though I had different coaches, it was always the same mentality, the same culture of training, that I was at a point where I couldn't see myself getting better anymore. If I was sticking to this plan, I was just going to be the same forever. So just had to change everything, and I'm very glad I did. So that, yeah, I fully understand Sylvain's choices and even more at this stage of his career. It's a good move.
And one bonus, Luc Madil is your coach for how many years now?
I started working with him 2023 in June, so 2 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's quite,
It's pretty new. Yeah.
recent.
He basically we started working together when literally just before I raced my first World Cup after a year away from racing because I had a concussion and went through a long story, went through a whole lot of stuff. Thought about quitting BMX, actually quit BMX, came back, and then there was with that fear of racing as well. I remember texting with him on the first World Cup in 2023. It was in Turkey. And I was doing pretty good actually, but in my mind I was doing terribly. And every time I win a lap, I'm like, why am I winning? It was just like I had so much disbelief in myself. And so kind of Luke came in to working with me when I was at that stage. And on that first day, I didn't make the final. I got 5th in the semi or something. And then I wrote to him. I was like, I'm really glad I didn't make the semi, because he was like, why? And I was like, well, if I'm not in the final, then there's another chance, or I'm avoiding a chance of crashing. And I was just in that kind of mindset. So having him kind of just by my side for that whole kind of 2 years. 2 years until the games. Just over a year until the games. Yeah, we went through a lot for sure to get me to a point where I thought I could win an Olympic Games. And yeah, it was a cool journey. And I was really, like, for me to watch Luke also, it's weird to say, but watching Luke coach me and how he's changed over those, hectic year was really cool to see as well, just like the change. And yeah, I was really proud of him as well. And now he's the head coach of Australia, Team Oz. So yeah, it's good.
I really appreciate the fact that you openly, discuss about those, those kind of things, because it was basically your biggest challenge in the past years, overcoming your fear of crashing. And it's crazy because you seem so dominant on the track, like so confident as well.
Yeah.
But in fact, like discovering now that in your head, it was the other way around.
Yeah.
And they were still to be that fast on the track, that dominant is the stretch that you were forced to do to race that good is impressive.
Thank you. But yeah, it was hard. Like especially in 2023, actually in 2024 as well. Thursday before World Cup. Thursday is usually a rest day, and then we have Friday official practice, and then the racing on Saturday. The Thursday ended up being like my designated mental breakdown day, where I will have nothing to do. It will be a rest day, and I will just like start overthinking, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like I'll just, get all the feelings up, and I'll have a mental breakdown, and I'll get that out of the way. And then Friday, I'm a bit more like, okay, I can do this. It's just only another 2 more days. And it just seemed to be normal. And that's just how I dealt with it. And I knew that I really wanted to win, and I knew that I just wanted to reach my potential. I knew that if I just stopped because of my fear and pulled the brakes because I was scared and whatever it was, I'll be kicking myself, and I'll be like, it was fine. Like it was just all in my head, So that's what drove me, and I just wanted to reach my potential. I didn't care if it was second, third, eighth, whatever. I just wanted to go out there and have given it everything. I've raced hard, I committed. And I think that's why I was able to continue to win, because I've had that, that fear pushing me, and just, it was so strong, and I just didn't want to give into it, so.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was scared when we were racing World Cups back in the days, fucking scared.
Yeah.
I never made any final in a World Cup, never.
No, I finished, when I was first year, second year lead, I think I finished 3 or 4 times in the top 3, top trials.
Never made a final. When I was so scared.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh, come on, dude. Why, it's a shame.
But I've never been able, until, for instance, I had a podium at the World Championship in 2012 because the track was just almost a normal track. So I was feeling at peace. So yeah, but I never found the trick, my own fear. So I'm like, oh, what you were able to do is just next level.
Well, the fear is part of BMX, isn't it? It's scary what we do, and that's why I would love to ask, I love to ask people like if they get scared, and I don't know, I don't think Rom feels the same fear that I do, but I don't know. I think maybe I'm also wired in the way to feel more fear, because I've never been someone was fearless when I was a kid as well. Like even if, like Kai, he'll be like, yeah, jump that triple today. It's tailwind, you got this. I'll be like, no, that will be my first instinct. I'm like, I don't want to do that. It's too scary. But then just like over time, I'll do a few more runs, and then I'll do the half, and then I knew that I didn't want to do it, but I knew that I could, and Kai knew that I could. So then I'll eventually do it. But then the next week, I'll have to go through the same emotions again. Like I've never been that person or that girl to be like, oh yeah, I'll do it, it's fine. I wish. And I know there are a few girls like that in the racing hemisphere. But yeah, I think it's just being in that kind of mindset and just always having battled with fear from such a young age. I think it's just doesn't go away. It's just the fear just gets bigger because I'm doing bigger things.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's annoying. It's so stressful.
Maybe you should get in touch with Roy Vandenberg. Do you know this guy?
Yeah.
Dutch guy. Dude, the first lap, World Cup.
But in the past, sometimes that's crazy. Madrid, the first year in Madrid, Salt Lake City, first lap jumping everything.
Ballsy.
See, I think that they're wired differently.
One question that I have for you, because I knew that Roman, you are on the circuit for
A while.
Eliteman, 2013,
2014 was my first year, so 11 years.
more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Saya, you're a bit younger, so this is not the same, but still. How do you perceive the World Cup tour? Isn't it boring? Because I know that you guys are racing the same track for years now. What is your own perspective on that one? Specific aspect.
We can go first.
I can go. Yes, it is. I wish it was a bit less boring, not going to always the same places at the exact same dates. Or this year when you have 3 stops, for example. I know it's there's no Olympic points, so I'm guessing a lot of countries, they don't want to organize World Cup. I know it costs a lot of money to organize a World Cup, but I don't think it's helping to help grow the sports. The World Cup circuit is the biggest we have in our sport, and we only have 3 stops this year, which is a bit lame. I think it'll make a big difference if we could have, for example, a European tour where it's for 4 weeks or 5 weeks, it's just 3 races in Europe, a month break, and then we go to Oceania, and then we break, and then we go to the US. And you can have like 3 race. And I think people actually like to follow it, because if you only have 3, like we have this year, 3 races, which 2 of them are within 10 days, the season is done within 2 months. It's not very exciting for us. It's not exciting at all. People watching, I don't think they get excited either. So yes, I'd love to see changes. I mean, if we go to the exact same track every year, but we get 10 stops, why not?
Yeah.
But that's not what we get. So I think there is something that could be done better. I'm not sure about all the inside and how it works and exactly. I just know it costs a lot of money to organize a World Cup.
Behind the sceneries and
Yes. But always, like, again, I don't think we are helping the sports to grow. We are at a point where I think we could be much bigger than where we are at the moment. So there was more World Cup when you were racing that we have this year. So
yeah. And that was, the interesting thing. I think from a rider perspective, it's interesting to race 2 days in a row, so Saturday, Sunday. But I really like the fact that in the past you had the time trial on the Friday and then the big race on the Saturday, plus the BMX after party. But that was, it made the old tour like so important. And you're okay. I'm going to the south of France, Fréjus, so I'm going to Madrid, or I'm going to Chula Vista, one race, one day. You're all in.
Exactly. Yeah, and then if you're like the winner of that weekend, not one of the winners.
yeah.
And but I think it's just like we just don't have enough. No, it's like a double-edged sword. It's like a double-edged sword where it's like we don't have enough money in order to get BMX up and running in front of people, so then they have more sponsors and get enough money in order to pay people, and only have one race in each weekend. And because now we have two races each weekend to encourage more participation, encourage more people to race it. And we also have the under 23s as well, which would help with the numbers and getting more people entered and more people racing it each weekend. And that feeds into having enough money to hold the event in that sense. And that also has a downside because then there's lots of winners, and there's so many rounds that you have to get through. You go through round 1 and you have to go in 16th sometimes, and it takes forever. And it's like you're not only showcasing the top of the sport, it's almost showcasing everything, So yeah, I don't know the answer, but it's definitely, I really, really don't know the answer. And I definitely don't know what's happening behind the scenes and what it actually is involved with holding a World Cup and how UCI has, organises it all. But I think there can be small changes that can be made in order to make it a bit more appealing. And yeah, well, now that the not live stream only starts from the quarterfinals, which is good, I guess. But yeah, more racing would be better. I think in my point of view, I want more racing because now I'm only thinking about 3 races this year. So I've got Sarians, Papendal, and Copenhagen Worlds, maybe Argentina.
Wow.
But I'm only thinking about just 3. And I'm like, there's so much, it's like almost like so much pressure in those 3. If we were racing so much more often, like it would just be like, oh yeah, it's just another race almost. And, you kind of you have time to find your feet in the season and, you can adapt and change things. But with only 3 stops with the World Championships, like there's no chance to adjust anything or kind of try something new. Yeah, it feels like, it's like the track cycling. The track cycling only has 2 or 3 Nations Cups and stuff, and they just train all the time. And I used to look at them and be like, how do you do that? But now we're in the same place.
Yeah. I will ask to Roy because I really like to invite Roy Vandenberg. I will also connect with Johan Lindstrom. He used to be in charge of basically, all of those World Cups back days. He was the guy behind all of this.
Yeah.
But also with Kevin, who is in charge of he was in charge of the BMX side for the UCI, but now he's in charge of all of those bicycle/Olympic sports for the UCI. So, she's great. I make it at Yvon Lapra's wedding. I would love to welcome them on the podcast.
Yeah.
Basically to really understand, because when you see all of those periods and how the let's say the flow of life went with BMX, it's funny because 20 years ago the place to be was the US. Got some races. When I was a kid, I was dreaming of going to California. Yeah, making a living over there, just like Thomas Ali did, just like Christophe Ledeck did, and some of the guys, Wet Boots from Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Then other things, and then we had the Supercross tour that was going crazy, only for men, no women. It was a very spectacular format. And now we're in another era, but I have the feeling that it's not as, how can I say that? It doesn't value the sport as it should be. Especially when, now it's been like 3 or 4 Olympic Games in a row, so where the sport is much more structured. The industry on its own should be more studied as well. But there are things that are not going in the right direction, I would say. So it will be very interesting to discuss those kind of topics with people who have not the knowledge, but at least an idea. So what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
No, it's the same with sponsors. If you look for sponsors and you tell them, they ask you how many races you're going to do this year. You say, I'm going to do 3. I don't think it's very exciting for them to sponsor you.
Yeah.
So it's...
This is where social media is important.
Yes, but in social media, if you're not a girl and you're not pretty, it's very hard too.
Well, I would say it's good.
I'm not just talking about her. I'm talking in general. And from what I talk with Joyce and Sylvain, more with Joyce because I spent a lot of time with him the past few months. And even being an Olympic champion, he didn't get any more opportunities before. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's just from what he told me, a lot of brand or people he got in touch with, they're just not interested. And I've seen him, he did an article on the France TV Sports. Yeah. And he's saying how, nothing has really changed since his title. And I don't know, that's what, for the past few years, we've seen that on social, you can make money, you can make a living, I'll say, but not everyone can. You need to have your story. You need a story. But a lot of us don't have a story because we just...
Personality as well.
Yeah.
It's not enough. It's not enough these days to
Just win is not enough.
And, back in the day, I don't know, I wasn't there. But, if you win, then you get the platform to get onto the magazines. Then you get, the sponsorships that pay you, lots of money. And that's the way that you made money. But now everyone has a platform. Everyone can see you. So now there's more competition.
Sure.
So now you need to find something that stands out other than just winning races. People don't...
Perfectly great. How you stand out from the crowd.
I think people are overseeing, people are overseeing people just doing amazing at what they do. They want to see the human side. They want to know how to connect with you in a human way. Otherwise, you just feel so far away from it and you're just not a fan, Some people are. Some people can be really diehard fans of what you actually do and how good you are. But I think nowadays the society is just like information overload. Everyone knows everything about each other. So if you're not sharing your personality and your uniqueness to people, they're not gonna be able to connect with you. And I think that's what brands are also looking for. They want to see the human side. And that's what I guess, the older guys are missing from their socials. And maybe that's when the younger kids are able to attract more of those sponsors or whatever it is, all those opportunities, because they're, being attractive to the population. It's, and that story. And that's what I was trying to say. So people connect with you. They don't connect with you with how well you do in what you do or how you ride bikes. They connect with you when you have a story.
When you're authentic.
Exactly. And
if you're not proactive, yes, doing good on social media, because nowadays, as you perfectly mentioned, back in the days we had magazines.
Yeah.
But this era is gone, and on all the other sports, if talking about surfing, whether you were the Kelly Slater of this world, winning everything, having the big contracts, or you're a free surfer and then you were traveling all around the world to get the best pictures, and then being in the magazines. And then being in the magazine, you have the sponsors. But then those free surfers, their role were to very, being good, but also networking with, the right magazines, the right photographer, and so on.
yeah.
The magic of what we are, the era that we are into right now is, as you said, everyone has the power.
Yeah.
But if you want to stand out of the crowd, you have to put effort. And it's funny because nowadays in surfing, the guys who are making the most of sponsorship are the guys, they are not pro surfer anymore, free surfer, they are fucking YouTubers making millions of views.
Yeah.
And even, the core brands, Quicksilver is not a core brand, but let's say Quicksilver, Billabong, those brands are not able to sponsor those guys because their value are much higher. Yeah. They are sponsored by non-endemic kind of brands. So once again, I had this discussion with Sylvain, I had this discussion with Eddie Clarté. I know it's a lot of work, but as a racer, to make a living, you need a strategy. Yeah.
It's not just social media though.
No.
I would say in an extreme example, my Olympic gold story. So after I won gold, I gained 70,000 followers. And it's not just because, I think half of the people started following me because I won and, gold medalists, I'm going to follow the gold medalists. But I think the other half followed me because of my story.
Yeah.
And I don't know about France, but in Australia, they really profile the Olympic athletes, before and throughout the games. We did a whole day of filming and then talking about my story, and then they edit it all up with my writing and stuff, and then they kind of profile the athletes throughout. So then they show the viewers who to cheer for, pretty much. And then what the broadcasting station did for me was they got Kai to narrate my story. So he was talking about, my story and from his perspective and how these Olympics would mean to me. So people who were in tune with the Olympics, they already knew my story. They already seen Kai tell my story. They know what I went through. They knew that I almost quit, and then they knew I had concussions in Tokyo and all that kind of stuff. So then when they saw me at the games, they're already gripped in. They already know me, even though I didn't do anything. They already know me. And then so when I won, that was why it had such a big impact, because they knew the story before. Yeah. So I think what I'm trying to get at is, it's like you need to kind of set yourself up with the story before you win. And because Kai and I have been, trying to put ourselves in the news for so long, and doing like local news and just doing bit by bit over time, doing podcasts and being with Red Bull has been really helpful. And then I had the documentary come out. I had a documentary filmed in 2024, and then they came out in June, I think.
Yeah,
so
just before the Olympics.
And then it ended as I'm going to Olympic Games to win whatever it is.
The old story, as you mentioned, it's storytelling.
So that story allowed more people to connect with me. Yeah. A lot of people didn't know what BMX was, but they resonated with my story in some way. And I think not just social media. I don't think I'm great at social media. I think there's so many people who are way better than me. But I think even, getting BMX and yourself in front of mainstream media as well, like little local news and things like that, is really important, because who are watching those people? It's not our generation. We don't watch the news, but, it's our mums and dads. They're, the ones that run companies and, employees or whatever it is, like showing your face in front of them. And it's not just one time, like lots of times. And once you've, do it a few times, it's like you accept that BMX is what it is, and maybe it's a mainstream sport, you don't know. So I think it's just important to keep pushing, not just social media.
For sure. There are all the aspects that must be covered as well. But for a brand, for instance, I had the chance to work with, like professional athletes, pro surfers, for instance, but also with, like random influencers. At the end of the day, you want to work with the guys who are the most proactive.
Yeah.
That are the number of followers, the ones who are already passionate about what they're doing, but who are on brand because of the fact that they want to work with you. So they are pushing a lot for your company.
Well, people are overseeing the ads on socials. Like they know when it's a paid ad and sitting next to whatever it is and be like, yay, like it needs to come from, that proactive side of that authenticity. And it needs to be done in a creative way that suits the athlete or the creator or the whoever it is. And that's the hard part. And then in order to do that, you need to show your personality on social media, and that's hard too. So, and some people will just do it, and then sometimes, I'm trying to find my own way to show things, but it's still hard. Like, I'm not going to be like, hey guys, like that's not me. So it's hard to find the balance.
Can we say that, now that, you won the world's bronze medalist, World Cup winner so many times, Olympic champion. Can we say that in 2025, you're making a stable living from racing?
I am, yeah. I do make a stable living. But again, it's not from like brand that are into BMX. If I was just to make living from a brand that's into BMX, like a bike brand or my jerseys, my pants, my helmets, I wouldn't be able to live. I wouldn't. So I'm lucky enough that there's something that was done. So in 2018, I signed with the Army, a contract with the Army. So Sylvain is part of it, Jeremy and Axel. And that was just the start of being able to live, train and make enough money to just not worry about going to work and trying to make money at the end of the month because I had to pay bills and stuff. So that was the first step. And it was I think without the Army, I wouldn't be here. That's for sure, because they were a big change into my career, my life. And then it was about me now that I had the salary coming every month, it was about me putting in the work so I could get results. And once I get results, then get more sponsors. Yeah, pay the bills, but also I had everything to train as hard as I could. So then I can get the result and maybe get more sponsors. So in the first few years, I mean, like until 2023, when I won a lot of races in Worlds, that's where I actually started making good money out of BMX. And now being like an Olympic medalist and having won the races that I did, the titles, it's a bit helpful, but it doesn't come from company within BMX. It comes from the world that's outside, just like company that have nothing to do with BMX that help me, the Army, the region where we live, the States, my club, Sion, all these little sponsors, like I get a car for free when I'm here. It's just little things, but at the end I don't have to pay for a car or this thing. It's very helpful when you had it for like 2, 3, 4 years. So I'm at a point where I can say I'm living, I'm making a good living out of BMX, but it's not thanks to the world of BMX. It's not the BMX brands that help me to live the life that I do live now. So I'm very grateful for all the people that help me. I know not everyone gets the chance that I have now. I don't have to worry about anything, so it's pretty good. And
the support that you get from the French army, I mean the program that the French government, like build with the army, etc., is just amazing because it's such a solid foundation.
it's so stable.
It is.
It's stable. It's even though you never know if you're gonna get renewed, but as long as you as long as you get results and you are answering the email that you get and that if they ask you to be there, you're there on time, or just being like very simple thing. If you do these things, it's very hard to get kicked out, I think, unless you stop getting any results. So I think it's very solid base, and yeah, they've been helpful big time. And now I'm very happy that I have also other sponsors, because we live a lifestyle that's a bit different than the way I was living in 2018, living in a training center where I didn't really have anything to pay, so it was fine. Now we live in between two countries, and so it's different. But no, it's nice to say that at least I can say that I make money with BMX. It's pretty cool.
So yeah, I would think that Red Bull is a massive support for you.
Yeah, huge. I think having the Red Bull deal was definitely huge in 2017, and it was like my biggest paying sponsor. And from that moment on, I think, like Rom said, it was probably what the Army did for him. It was something that I didn't really have to worry about, funding my life. And I was also, in 2018, I was also supported by the Australian cycling team. So they were paying for my travels and hotel for racing and things like that. So that was really good. But I think what made the biggest difference is just having those years and years of, doing the marketing, not the marketing, but like the promotion and things like that. Kai and I had done since we were 16, doing coaching sessions around the world, going on local news and then national news, and always doing media stuff and trying to show up as someone on social media, giving more stories in the caption, rather than just being like, hey, I got second. Like it was trying to give more. And we've always, even though the results didn't show straight away, I think it was an accumulation of all those things, and more people kind of picked up. Once we started getting results, they're sort of like, oh, there's been years of Kai and Saya for all this time, and we know their story already. And then that's when it starts to snowball. And I think that's created a really good foundation for when I started to win, to, you know, not attract BMX sponsors, but have opportunities back home where,
with the outside world and
you know, doing speaking gigs, school visits and things like that. I think they're really important. Like the schools, I don't know what it's like in France, but I've been getting so many school requests, and they want us to come talk to the kids and inspire them and things like that, which I think it's really important. And, you know, just one visit, you're talking to hundreds of kids, and they go home to their parents and like, this pro BMX that came to our school and talked about this and this. It's so cool. Like now you have an instant fan, you know? So it's just like doing those things has really helped me, you know, snowball. And after this, after winning a few of those World Cups and now this gold, I think
that's small. I mean, it's a part of the strategy.
it was, well, it wasn't like, it wasn't planned out. It was just, you know, chipping away at it. And it was, big thanks to my dad that kind of had a lot of drive in us to make sure that we're doing this properly and doing BMX. If we want to do BMX, then we're not going to work. We're not going to do anything. We've got to, you know, build our brand and do the marketing and promotion and be able to fund our travels, not just from BMX and things like that. So he's helped us from, a young age to really build that up. And that's, I think we were unique because we had a really good story that it was brother and sister doing a very cool sport that no one really knows. And like brother and sister take on the world and things like that. But everyone has a story, I think. You can make a story out of anything. You just have to say it enough times or say it in a different way. It needs to be, you know, get people to connect, you know.
I really want to see, you know, the power couple vlogging.
There it's coming.
It's okay. Looking back, is there one thing that you would have done differently in your life, no matter what?
No. Big question. Very broad.
I want to say yes, but if I say yes, maybe I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Like if I would have changed something 6 years ago instead of 3 years ago, would that change would have made me better? Or it would have not changed anything and maybe I wouldn't be here? I don't think I would have changed anything because these 10 years, I'll say 9 years of struggle, because it was really 9 years, my 9 first years of elite. Most of it was struggle. Towards the end, it was like some World Cup final, some World Cup podium, but...
Dude, I've seen that. It took you 9 years.
9 years to put myself into a world final. And I won it straight away, but 9 years.
And then that was in 2022?
23.
23?
Yes.
And then in 23, you won five
World Cup the same year.
That's crazy.
It was just, so that's what I'm saying. And all of that happened because I changed something the year before. But if I made that change, let's say
when
3 years, when I
started the UCI
training with Kurt. Okay. Yes, I changed everything. But maybe I would have not been this good 3 years prior if I'd made that changes earlier. Because I also think all this struggle made me stronger for this 2023 season, where I was the best I've ever been. And so it's very hard to think of one thing that I would have changed. Because I was thinking the other day, I was like, oh, if only I knew this when I was 20. If only I knew this 10 years ago, it would have been so much easier. But I'm like, would it? Like, I'm not sure it would have been actually easier. Because I'm kind of glad I went through all these like very low moments and made me who I am today. And it made this last 2 years even better. Like this past 23 and 24 has just been amazing. And I really enjoyed it because, like I said, having 9 years of fucking struggle and not giving up and ended up getting where I wanted and winning and yeah, just be where I wanted to be was just felt even more special. So it's like the longer you wait, the better it feels, and that's how it was for me. So changing something, I don't think so. I don't think I would change anything.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Good on you.
I'm the same. I was thinking about maybe I would want to. I wish I had worried less. I wish I was, less stressed. But then at the same time, because of that stress and because of that worry, because of that fear, that's what allowed me to propel forward and face my fears and get better and better at BMX. So without the struggle, there's no win, so I wouldn't change it.
One thing I would have changed, I would have saved more money when I was making money in junior on all this European Cup where we were going with Amidou and we were getting first, second, first, whatever.
Spending them all.
We were 17 making, I don't know, sometimes up to $1,000 on the weekend.
Yeah.
And we were just spending the whole thing the next week because it was fun. That's the only thing I would change.
Only I bought Bikeground.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's if only I put this 100, like this $3,000 that I must have spent all year into Bitcoin.
You know one story that I have? Right after the Olympics, I had to pay a fine about 4,000 euros because I lived in downtown Aix-en-Provence, and for the last 2 or 3 years, I never paid the parking. And when you get a fine, you receive like two weeks later. And I changed twice the car, so I was like, okay, I'm lost. So meaning in their papers, so they will never catch me. All of a sudden I had to pay. And that was in 2012. I've already knew about Bitcoin, and the older brother of my ex-girlfriend, I used to live with a lady at that time for a couple of years. And he was working at Google, in San Francisco, and I was like, oh man, that's the next thing you have to buy. I bought only 2009, that was already too late. And I remember in 2012, it was around like $300. But the thing is, when I think about that, if only I knew, I would have put 4,000 instead of the fine in Bitcoin. But dude, the day I would have done like 20% or
You were just cash out.
watch this. I'm out. I'm like, Ollie, let's go. I want 2,000 euros. Oh my gosh. No, but we're getting to, like to anticipate those kind of things. Yeah. Well,
You never know.
yeah, definitely. And now I'm putting all my money into that, but potentially this is way too late.
It's never too late.
Okay, last question for you guys. How do you envision your potential transition to the next chapter after BMX? Is it something that you're already anticipating, that you're already thinking about?
Yes, I think about it all the time. I've been thinking about it for years. It's just like, what do I do? Do I become a physio? Do I become a coach? I've no idea. And especially after this winning gold and having seen the impact that I had on doing this and sharing my story on kids, on parents and people in general, how much I've been able to inspire them. I'm like, okay, I need to do something like that in that direction, whether it's or be able to give back or get more kids onto bikes, or be able to, make it easier for kids to go through the ranks and have a clear pathway, whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but I think I do want to have an impact on society, whether it's through a foundation or through a program or whatever it is. I want to do that. I definitely don't want to just coach one person. I think I want to build something for the next generation of kids. and young people.
That's great.
Cool. That's cool.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, it sounds like a plan.
What about you, mate?
I think at some point I want to give back to the sports. I'm not sure in what way, but I think we have so much knowledge when we retire that it's a waste to just go away and disappear. I don't want to go away and disappear, and it's like putting all this knowledge in a bin where I could just give that to the next generation. I'm not saying coaching in a club, but just doing something with a team or just a small group of young kids like coming up. Like I said, there's something I'm like, oh, I wish I knew that when I was 20. Well, I'd like to give this knowledge to this kid that's 20 and maybe help, even if it's just one, just at least help someone to get wherever they want to go. But give back to the sport at some point. That's for sure. I'm not sure which way yet, but yeah. And I'm a big coffee fan. Yeah, it's been years, and living in Australia makes it even like bigger because coffee is part of the culture there.
That's crazy.
It's just everywhere.
Flat whites every year.
So I've got my whole like dream set up at home now, and I'm thinking more and more about one day it will be my hobby, opening some sort of a tasting coffee shop, like they do with wine, but more with coffee, like a very high-end coffee shop.
Crazy.
So you'll have to book stuff like. I don't want to be just a coffee where people come and take away. It's just you have to. It's an experience where you get to taste different. That's something that I'm into. I'm thinking about it now, and just to know that I have we probably most likely not be living in Australia.
Yeah.
So it will fit with the culture. That's one thing. What else?
That's a good idea. I mean, I'm a big coffee lover as well. And as soon as I had the chance to travel somewhere, I always, go from one coffee shop to another. And I've done some courses as well. When I was in Australia, that was coffee every day, going to coffee shops every fucking day. Yeah. But I've never, seen those kind of...
I've seen them in Japan.
Yeah.
So we travel to Japan every year, and it's like my favorite time is to go to this coffee shop where it's like a tasting experience where you get different drink. Yeah. It's not even like it's different than having a flat white or a cappuccino. It's just they use the exact same beans for 3 or 4 different drinks, and you get to taste it. It's just a very good experience. If you're a coffee lover, it's cool. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe to do that one day, and yeah, just be smart with the money that we make it.
Yeah.
Like we said, we can live pretty good just with like what we make from BMX, but we don't want to spend everything. And we're just trying to be very smart with what we do and thinking of the future. We'll see. I still have a few years, so I'm trying not to think too much about this part. Yeah, I'm more excited about the coffee part now than this part, but yeah, we'll see in a few years.
Is you both?
What can understand?
I can do.
Like a coffee kind of testing shop on which you can do some, specific prep for BMX routes. Track around the corner.
But it will be too expensive to. They want BMX. I won't want to spend money there.
Yeah, we can do all the
Good. Guys, before we wrap up, one thing I'd like to share with you. I got those magazines this morning with Anna Masadova, Big Host magazines. This is a French magazine, okay? You have BMX racing into it, freestyle, streets, everything. These are for you. So I have one magazine for each of you. There are some information about the World Cup in science that will happen. And there is also an article about Bikeground, so that's cool. This is for you. This is for you. Very last world. Thank you very much for everything. Thank you very much for your time. This is, once again, this is just great being with, people like you, because now you are on the top of the sports, but you are the pinnacle of the BMX racing. Definitely. And I'm happy because today you have shared so many information, so many insights. It's going to be inspiring. It's going to give, I think, a lot of perspectives to the people that will listen, that will watch the code. So thank you very much. And I wish you all the best for your season.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mama.
Thanks for having us, and thanks for doing this podcast and, you know, adding a new media and telling stories around BMX. And I think that's much needed.
A new media that does quality stuff. Quality is important. So thanks for that.
Thank you very much for your
Nice.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thanks, Mama. Everybody watching, if you are into the deepest shit that you've ever been and you're the lowest point that you've ever been in your career or whatever, it's that time where you don't give up. You just keep going, and great things gonna happen. It's and you'll look back at this moment and you'll be very glad that you didn't give up.
That's so good. What he said. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching and supporting us as well as Bikeground and supporting Mana. Keep riding hard. Don't give up. I'm not very good at this. I wasn't prepared. But yeah, just keep grinding, not grinding. Yeah.
Wow.
That was the worst.
Good one. I really, it's authentic. That's messy.
Let's not put that in there.